special session Governor Tony Evers called earlier this week to address workforce development and child care funding ended with the Republican-controlled legislature gaveling in, but not gaveling out of the session. The special session is still open, and as Senator Kapenga explained, lawmakers could still consider that proposal or make some changes. Evers' $1 billion package called on lawmakers to fund the pandemic-era Child Care Counts program, send more money to the University of Wisconsin, and create a paid family leave program. Republicans are already taking their different approach to child care. Last week, the Assembly approved a package of Republican-authored bills that include a loan program for child care providers and increasing the number of children workers could supervise. Here with me now is Democratic Representative Alex Jors. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Great to be here, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
This past week, Democrats introduced their own Child Care Counts legislation. You are a co-author of that legislation. What does this new bill include?
Well, this bill is a standalone piece of legislation that we've put forward, mirrored after the governor's budget proposal on child care counts and the Partner Up program. So this looks exactly like the piece of the budget that unfortunately was stripped out a couple months ago, but we know that there is currently a crisis in child care, and so we felt that it was necessary to put this standalone legislation forward.
And how will it be funded, the program within this legislation?
Sure. Well, I think that we're looking at doing the same, over $300 million to the Child Care Counts program and $22 million to the Partner Up program. Child Care Counts program, as many know, has helped over 100,000 children in Wisconsin gain access to quality, affordable child care and helped providers stay open in Wisconsin. Since 2007, we've seen across the state over half of providers close, and that's only going to increase unless we have this necessary funding to be able to keep those providers open so that they can pay their staff a living wage and then also make sure that families have access to this essential child care provider service.
And let me clarify here, as far as the funding, is the proposal to have money come out of the budget surplus at this point?
Well, we do have quite a large budget surplus right now, and of course this proposal would use a small piece of that to be able to fund this essential program. So that's what we're hoping to do, and we hope to have this legislation move forward so that hopefully there's no break in service that parents are seeing across the state, and we can make sure this program is funded for years to come.
Well, Republicans say they're not interested in funding a new program like Child Care Counts. They have made that clear over the last several months. Do you think this bill, though, has a chance in the Republican-controlled legislature?
That's a great question, and I really hope my Republican colleagues come around to this. I'm having discussions every day and every opportunity that I can to talk about how essential affordable and accessible childcare is to Wisconsinites and how extremely vital this program has been throughout the pandemic to be able to provide families with that option of having a great place to take their kid to a child care provider in our state. So I'm going to continue those conversations, and each day my Republican colleagues will have to make the choice of whether they want to help us in solving this problem or if they want to continue to ignore the crisis that is already happening in Wisconsin with lack of affordable and accessible child care.
Republicans have advanced their own package of child care bills, so are there any of those that Democrats might accept as a compromise to fund child care counts?
Well, unfortunately, we did see some of those proposals come forward, and I unfortunately had to vote against them because they were reducing increasing ratios and reducing safety standards for our early educators. So that's not necessarily a long-term solution because parents are looking for sustained investment in childcare right now. So having Band-Aid approaches like this, unfortunately, isn't going to work for what we need for the future of our state and to ensure that our kids have a safe and healthy environment to go to every day.
Republicans have criticized child care counts as also a sort of short-term solution, just throwing money at the problem. You have characterized the Republican bills also now as a short-term solution. What is the middle ground here for Democrats and Republicans on legislation that needs to address a crucial issue in our state?
Sure. Well, I think that we have seen the success of child care counts. This is a program that has already been established in our state and has already been proven to be successful for working families. So when I see a successful program and I see, unfortunately, the Republicans cut it, I have to question why they did that in the first place. So what we're trying to do is bring it back to the table, give them an opportunity to make sure that they understand the merits of the program, which we have seen to be very successful in our state at keeping child providers afloat and ensuring that the people that they employ are able to earn a living wage. So I think that's what will help us continue to ensure that this issue is top of mind for everybody in our state.
Republicans left Wednesday's special session open. They could take up the governor's workforce package or take up other Republican proposals. That latter does seem more likely with this legislature. So under that workforce umbrella, maybe moving to a general past child care into workforce, how can you work with Republicans to come up with solutions for the workforce issues in the state?
Absolutely. It's essential to work together to pass anything in this legislature. So my door is always open. Unfortunately, on Wednesday, I showed up to the Capitol for the scheduled special session to address all of the workforce issues that you mentioned. And unfortunately, my Republican colleagues did not show up for work to discuss those proposals. And as you and I know, this is a crisis that's facing Wisconsin right now. So we need to address it as soon as possible. And, again, my door is always open. I'm willing to work with my Republican colleagues on workforce solutions. And we've put our package forward. And, we hope to see this move forward in the future.
Representative Alex Jors, thanks for joining the show this morning.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. It's a pleasure.